Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. Rassie Erasmus has officially named his team to take on Argentina in the final Rugby Championship clash of the tournament, and hopefully the clash that will see the Springboks crowned Rugby Championship winners for the second year in a running. And the good news is it is consistency. We have only seen a couple of changes to the starting lineup and a small tweak to the bench. And the big thing is, for a change, it's actually injury returns, really, and big boost for the side. What we are starting to see is really the next generation and really an idea of what this team is going to look like moving forward, because players are getting backed continuously now. And I think players who have put their hands up and putting in big performances are keeping their spots. We're not seeing the rotation for the sake of rotation, for example. Yes, for example, somebody like a Bongi Manambi onto the bench this weekend, getting an opportunity, but players are being backed. And it's a huge difference to what we're seeing in selection in the last month, basically, to what we saw in the first month. And I think that's very important because we are seeing progression. You know, the first four games, you had games against Italy, you had games against Georgia, even games against the Wallabies, where you kind of thought, well, we're trying to sort of rotate it around and kind of see what's happening. Then we threw the dice a little bit for the second test against the All Blacks. And from that result, because it was so good, we then basically backed what has more or less been the same sort of 23 moving forward, because they keep producing the goods. And this weekend is absolutely no exception. Before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is what we're looking like this weekend. In the front row, Oxenchair is fit and returns and will start in the number 1 jersey. He'll be next to Malcolm Marx, and whilst there were a couple of injury queries and question marks around the fitness of Thomas du Toit, he is evidently fit and ready to go in the tight head jersey. And I think that our scrums will be probably a bit more dominant. I don't think they were terrible over the weekend. I think we got a couple of scrum penalties, but maybe not quite the sort of dominance we thought we would get and we wanted to get. But Oxenchair will bring that, you know, and that's no criticism to Bowen Fenter. At the end of the day, Oxenchair is arguably the best scrummaging loosehead in the world. So having him back is always going to be a huge boost. Eben Etzebeth, Ruan Nortje in the second row. It's quite a combination to have your most capped Springbok of all time, and then probably the most exciting younger player in terms of consistency throughout the season we've had in a Ruan Nortje, who could be one of the most underrated players in world rugby, is one of the comments we had on our live show today. And I tend to agree. He's just been so consistent. But obviously, being a number 5 lock never really gets the appreciation that maybe he deserves. It's an unchanged back row, and there's just so much experience, power, you know, and the likes of that in Siya Kolisi, Pieter-Steph, the Toit, Jasper, Wiese. I mean, Pieter-Steph, the Toit is an all-timer again last week. Always makes meters, deceptively fast, such a hard worker. Jasper, Wiese, the physicality he is on display is mental. And he just loves that part of it. You know, you can just see he walks on. And, you know, like they used to call Bongi a top dog. He's kind of got that top dog mentality of, I'm the most physical player on the pitch. I'm going to run over you. I'm going to impose myself and be pretty much unstoppable. That's the kind of attitude Jasper Wiese has. And he's been such a big addition to this pack in the last two tests. He's made a huge impact. And I think what's gone under the radar are his soft skills. Yes, he runs over players. Yes, he's physical. But you know, he's also got really good soft skills, and his awareness and his positioning, for example, has come a long way. His ability under the high ball has come a long way. He's becoming an all-round, absolute world-class number 8. We talk about combinations. Well, there he is. Cobus Reinach, Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu, very much becoming a combination for the Boks, and even Grant Williams being fit, but only being included on the bench to partner Mali Liebach. Again, we talk about combinations. I think this Reinach Sacha one's a good one, and I think Stormers fans, get you ready for, because that's going to be your 9-10 combination come the rest of the URC after November. So I think it's two players that they're really starting to understand each other and starting to produce the magic, as is a centre pairing of Damian Allende and Canan Moodie, who are now playing, I think, their 3rd or 4th test together as a combination. Also something that they're going to continue getting better, and also important that we build depth within combinations. It's not just about playing Sacha 20-30 games, making sure he's played 10 games with the Cobus Reinach, 10 games with the Faf de Klerk, games with Moodie Vandenberg, and you start to understand how these different players play. Because that's where the experience comes in. It's that ability to understand how the players next to them are going to respond and be able to then get the best out of them as well as the best out of you. In terms of the back three, Ethan Hooker, Cheslin, Kolbe, and Damian Willemse are all fit and ready to go after a couple of injury scares. Amongst them, Damian Willemse, we assumed he was all right when they didn't call in a fullback, given the fact that he's the only real out-and-out fullback in the squad. Yes, Sacha can go there like we saw last week, but that's not his preferred position, and very much is Damian Willemse's jersey at the moment while Fussy is injured. And when he comes back, that's going to be a bit of a dogfight really for that number 15 jersey. So the only change to the entire 23 is Oxen Chair into it. So that in itself, again, it's an injury boost. So we've only gotten better. Then off the bench, Bongi Manami gets an opportunity. Again, I feel for Marcus van der Merwe. I find it weird he hasn't got those chances. But obviously the coaching staff knows something that we don't. Big opportunities for Bongi. It's I wouldn't say it's now or never, but we're seeing with somebody like a Sacha being backed and Andre not getting many games, even a Jesse Creel not getting games and Canan being backed. If Bongi Manambi does not pitch up this weekend, if he does not put in a really big showing, I think he does start to slip down in the order. And the likes of Jan Hendrik Wessels as an option, and Marcus van der Merwe as an option, become far more of a real thing. Whereas if Bongi Manambi comes off the bench and puts in a really big impact, then you can say, no, actually, we still got him. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to remind everybody what he's all about. And I think he's the type of character that will try and do exactly that. Jan Hendrik Wessels in at the reserve loose head. It's amazing how come rain, snow, sunshine, wet, Jan Hendrik Wessels has become one of the actual most constant players in the matchday 23. Whether that's hooker, prop, starting, bench, he's become indispensable. And I think especially off the bench, he's becoming such an important impact player for the Boks, as is Wilco Louw in terms of coming off the bench and being able to absolutely decimate scrums towards the end of the game. And then the OG bomb squad impact players of Arches Name and Kwaka Smith continue to make their impact off the bench. It might not be a 6-2, it might not be a 7-1, but I'll tell you what, the bomb squad mentality is still very much in there. And I think we're starting to find a 5-3 split that can have similar sorts of impact. And the way we finished games in the last two tests very much are testament to that. Grant Williams back from injury starts on the bench, but gets an opportunity back in the side. Maniba continuing to be back because he has been so good off the bench. Jesse Creel comes in. I'll be interested to see if that's maybe because he can also potentially cover a wing as an option, given the fact that, or at least he can cover an outside centre, for example, given that we've got inside centre options at a Sacha, for example, or a Damian Willemse, but Andre Etzebeth covers most positions but doesn't really cover wing, and maybe that might be a thinking there, given the fact that there were potential niggles to Cheslin, Kolbe, Ethan Hooker, Damian Willemse, and the likes of that. It's a very good 23 at the end of the day. It is arguably a stronger 23 to last week. Some people might flip a coin on Andre Etzebeth or Jesse Creel. Andre Etzebeth is in really good form, but Jesse Creel, we know what he can bring. And then you bring Grant Williams into the side, you bring an Oxen Chair into the side, and it's a really scary prospect if you're Argentina, who have lost some key players like Thomas Albanose, like Gonzalo Garcia, and that'll be big impact for them. What do you think of the side? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon.